I'm Val Napoleon. I'm Cree. I am from Saulteaux First Nation in the northeast of British Columbia, Treaty 8. I'm an adopted member of the House of Lujan, of the Frog Clan of the Gitxsan Gitniao people. I'm a law professor here at the Faculty of Law and a research chair with many pupils with Indigenous law. So Next Steps is built on the foundation of the work to date by many people. So we have an Indigenous Law Research Center, we have the Indigenous Law Degree Program, we have this National Center for Indigenous Laws that's almost built, and Next Steps is taking the lessons that we've learned and expanding it to work on a societal basis, to look at what's going to be involved with rebuilding an entire legal order. So if you think about law and the work that law has to do in our societies, it's families, it's governance, it's citizenship, it's business and trade, it's land, it's all of the ways that we organize human relationships to relate to the stuff of the world. So rebuilding our legal orders is an important part of restoring our own lawfulness. There is no intact Indigenous legal order that will spring to life with its mere recognition. That's why we have to do that rebuilding, and by that I mean the research, the organizing, the thinking carefully about institutions through which law operates, all of those questions. So why is the work unique? Because it isn't going on anywhere else in the world in the way that we've imagined it and shaped it here. You know, the starting place has always been that we need a bigger imagination for the possibility of law, including Indigenous law. And so the work of law, it includes ways of creating meaning in the world, it includes ways of solving problems, it includes ways of holding each other up and taking care of one another collectively across our societies. Law has always had to do the hard work of law to enable us to manage conflict and deal with the complexities of life. So being lawful is an important part of being a citizen in our communities and in our societies. Indigenous peoples have always been lawful all over the world, and we're rebuilding and restoring our legal institutions and the laws that operated through those institutions. And the reason it should matter for the rest of Canada is that, you know, if people would just think for 1 minute about all the ways that law is a part of their lives, where they can travel, how they can travel, where they work, how they are able to engage with the political ordering and how they engage economically in the world, like all of these things require law. Law is one of the ways that we manage the complexities of our lives. And all Canadians should be thinking about what makes law law, like what's legitimate, whose voices are heard, how are decisions made, and how can they be a part of the legal world, the political world, and the economic world around them. We've had to argue that Indigenous peoples have law, and we've had to explain why that is so important. And there hasn't always been space, and there isn't always space for Indigenous law in Canada. But that's changing. It's changing every year with the more work that people do. Now, the challenges for all of us are that we live in a complex world that is filled with dynamics that affect every one of our communities. I want to see every Indigenous legal order in this country healthy and functioning and enabling us to manage our societies and to manage ourselves as peoples. You can't be a people without law, and you can't govern without law. So I want to see us be able to rebuild, restore, adapt all of the things that law requires us to do to manage the problems of today. So for Indigenous peoples, I want that kind of public intellectual health for all of us. For the country, and this includes Indigenous peoples, civil society, intensive democracy, like not just one voice, one person, but all the different ways that every person is able to engage with the relations of power that is around them. What I hope we can convey is the profound importance that law is in our society. So I'm not talking just about formal law organized through state processes and you know, hierarchies, right? But the ways that we take care of one another, the ways that we treat one another, the way that we interact with non-human life forms, with the land, like all of the ways that we enable ourselves to be collectively in the world.